Let's explore market failures due to externalities in more depth. We can begin with common pool resources, a fascinating economic concept that affects our daily lives. These are resources that anyone can use, but each person's use reduces what's available for others. Think of fish in the ocean. No one owns them. Fishers can freely catch them. But here's the catch. When too many boats chase too few fish, we face what economists call the tragedy of the commons. This happens because each fisher thinks, if I don't catch these fish, someone else will. Let's break this down. Common pool resources have two key features. They're non-excludable. It's hard to stop people from using them. They're rivalrous. One person's use reduces what's available for others. A real-world example is happening right now in the Mediterranean Sea. Bluefin tuna populations have dropped dramatically due to overfishing. Despite fishing quotas, illegal fishing continues because the short-term profit tempts fishers to ignore long-term sustainability. This connects to negative externalities of production. When fishing companies overexploit tuna populations, they're not just affecting their future catches, they're harming the entire marine ecosystem, impacting other species and the livelihoods of small-scale fishers. We can use a negative externalities of production diagram to illustrate this scenario. The common pool resource is the fishery itself, while the marketable product extracted from the resource is the tuna fish. The demand curve represents the marginal private benefit, MPB, and since there are no consumption externalities, the MPB also aligns with the marginal social benefit, MSB. However, on the supply side, the actual market supply curve of tuna fish is the marginal private cost, MPC, whereas there is a negative externality of production in the form of overfishing and the unsustainable depletion of the fishery, and this makes the marginal social cost, MSC, greater than the MPC, resulting in a welfare loss and a market quantity, QM, greater than the socially optimal quantity, QSOC. Therefore, there is an over-allocation of resources, and that is unsustainably depleting the common pool resource, which is the fishery in this case. Understanding common pool resources helps us recognize why some environmental problems are so challenging to solve. When everyone has unrestricted access to a resource, but no one takes responsibility for maintaining it, we often see overuse and depletion. In economics, merit goods are those that are deemed beneficial for individuals and society as a whole. They often generate positive externalities, meaning that their consumption leads to broader benefits beyond the individual user. For instance, education is considered a merit good because a well-educated population can contribute positively to society by reducing crime rates, increasing productivity, and fostering civic engagement. In this context, the marginal social benefit, MSB, of education exceeds the marginal private benefit, MPB, that an individual experiences, justifying government intervention to increase access to such goods. The existence of positive externalities of consumption creates a situation where the market quantity, QM, is less than the socially optimal quantity, QSOC, meaning that there is an under-allocation of resources. Conversely, demerit goods are those considered harmful to individuals and society. They typically generate negative externalities, where the consumption of these goods causes adverse effects not only for the individual but also for others. A classic example is tobacco consumption, which can lead to health issues not just for the smoker but also for those exposed to secondhand smoke. In this case, the MSB of tobacco consumption is less than the MPB, indicating that society bears additional costs from its use. This discrepancy often leads to government regulations and taxes aimed at reducing the consumption of demerit goods. The existence of negative externalities of consumption creates a situation where the market quantity, QM, is greater than the socially optimal quantity, QSOC, meaning that there is an over-allocation of resources. Understanding these concepts is crucial for grasping how economic policies are formulated. Governments may subsidize merit goods to enhance their consumption, recognizing the higher social benefits they provide. Conversely, they may impose taxes or restrictions on demerit goods to mitigate the negative externalities associated with their consumption. These policies help ensure that the welfare of society is prioritized while still allowing individuals the freedom to make their choices. The distinction between merit and demerit goods is fundamental in economics, particularly when analyzing consumption patterns and their effects on society. By recognizing the differences in social and private benefits, we can better understand the rationale behind government interventions in the market, aiming to promote overall social welfare and mitigate harmful behaviors. Public goods are unique in that they are both non-excludable and non-rivalrous. This means that once they are provided, no individual can be effectively excluded from using them, and one person's use does not diminish the availability for others. Examples of public goods include clean air, national defense, and public parks. These goods often lead to positive externalities, where the benefits extend beyond the individual consumer to society as a whole. For instance, when a community invests in a public park, it not only provides recreational space for individuals, but also enhances the overall quality of life and property values in the area. However, the nature of public goods also gives rise to the free rider problem. Since people cannot be excluded from using these goods, some may choose not to contribute to their funding, relying instead on others to pay for them. This can lead to underfunding or depletion of public goods, ultimately affecting their availability and quality. To address this issue, governments often step in to ensure that public goods are adequately financed through taxation or other means, ensuring that everyone benefits from the shared resources while discouraging free-riding behavior. Understanding these concepts is crucial for grasping the complexities of economic interactions in society.